Okay, I think we're live. So welcome everybody. I'm here tonight on episode 7 of Mumpreneurs Inspired and Thriving, and I've got the gorgeous Diane McKendrick joining me this evening. So welcome, Diane, and thanks so much for being here. Tonight we're going to be talking about, I guess, what do I say? How to go from stuck to seen in 5 easy steps. So Diane's going to be sharing with us her magic formula to move from stuck to seen, which I'm sure many of my one-on-one clients, as well as the group people, it's something that it affects a lot of us, and even still, things come up where we feel stuck in certain areas. So I'm sure, even though primarily in our group here we focus on business and wealth creation and self-care, these steps that Dan will share, I believe, we'll be able to apply in any area of our life, which is an added bonus. So welcome, Diane. So Diane is an author, life coach, a speaker, and really she seeks to, she is an expert in personal empowerment. She's launched 2 books, which is absolutely fantastic. The first book, I think, came out in 2018 from memory, the Rise Up book, which is fantastic, beautiful. And then congratulations yet again, Millionaire Mum in June 21 this year. So that's fantastic. So well done. We were just chatting before we came live here about the impact that books, that we write when we're vulnerable and share parts of our journey, that we hope the impact flows onto others and they can also be empowered to perhaps write their own book, share their own story in some way or form. So Diane guides, people to unlock their greatness, if you like, that innate potential that's within, and also, especially, with mumpreneurs and perhaps business owners as well, seeks to help them to monetize what it is their sole purpose is once they reconnect to that. And it's a beautiful journey, and it's one that I associate with very closely with you as well. And I thank you so for being here. And so in order to share, so to get us going, a question I like to ask the speakers at the very beginning is, what do most people misunderstand about your field of work?
Great question. So first of all, hello everybody. It's nice to meet you if you're jumping on and listening live now, or you're watching this later and #replay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, Fiona, the biggest misconception about what I do, so being an author, a speaker, and a life coach, a lot of people come to me and they want to write their own book, or they want to capture the essence of who they are and the lessons that they've had. And so I think the biggest misunderstanding there is that you have to be something different or special, that you need to be able to write really well, or be a great speller, or be really smart, or be really clever, or be really rich, or be really famous, or all of those things. And that's what I thought prior to starting the journey of writing a book. I always had a dream, and I had, from a little girl, I wanted to write a book, but I just built these stories up in my head that only rich people do that, only famous people do that, only smart people do that. And I'm not a very good speller, so that was a challenge for me when I first decided.
I've lost I can't hear you, Diane.
Oh. Our traumas, but also utilize our life and our traumas to support other people going through it. So now that we've been through these things and we've got it into, pages of a book, anybody can pick that up and read it at any time. But if you have got a dream, if you have got a goal, whether it be in the area of life coaching, speaking, like I used to be extremely shy. This is the other misconception. Like I was born, popped out of the womb, and I was able to speak, or I did speech and drama lessons, or I'm just a natural speaker. That is not the case. My background is like deathly shy, so intimidated, scared of my own reflection, and I couldn't speak. I taught myself. And the way I taught myself was, well, actually, let me tell you how bad it was first. When I was out and about, if I was shopping or I'd go out for lunch or go for a coffee, I couldn't even go up and order a coffee without having a panic attack. Like my palms would go sweaty, my mind would go blank. Like I would go home and eat and have a coffee and then go back to the shops to finish my shopping because I didn't want to speak to anybody because I'd had such a, so petrified. So, that misconception of, now that I speak and I share my journey and I am really passionate about putting content together that's simple, easy, accessible for people, You don't need to be able to speak. If you've got a mission, if you've got a passion, you can learn how to do it. And I learned it by reading my kids' books. I just got a $99 online course, and I read through all the information. I watched all the videos, and I thought, how am I going to have time to do this? I've got 2 little kids. My husband's away. I'm not going to have time to learn how to speak. And so I thought to myself, well, I read to my kids for about 20, 25 minutes every single night. Our days were full because they were only little. And I was here by myself a lot of the time. I thought, well, I'll practice while I read to them. I'll practice my facial expressions, my tonality, the pitch, the pace, all the things. So these kids got, a book read to them every single night with the most wonderful, amazing expression. And that's how I taught myself to speak. And then coupled with being passionate about something, you'll find a way. So you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be clever. You don't have to be able to spell. You don't have to be a gifted speaker. If you've got the passion, if you want to help people, you are enough. You can find a way. And that's the misconception, that you need the next course, you need the next guru to tell you how to do it. You've got it all locked inside of you. And sometimes it just takes the reflection or the mirror held up to you to go, oh, she can do it. Ain't nothing special about her. If she can do it, I can do it too. And so they see you and I doing this. Like anyone listening to this now or later, you can do what your purpose is. You just want to surround yourself with others doing it. So then it's like contagious, as opposed to like viruses.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's a very key point, that it's really surrounding yourself with a fertile growth environment. It's an environment of supportive people that I don't necessarily like the term like-minded. I know a lot of people use it and everyone understands it, but I think also we need to be in an environment of growth where we can be stretched. So for example, if we can't see forward and we're not sure where to go, we are stuck, for example, I want someone to be able to be looking down and seeing my hand sticking up and reach down and grab me and take me to where I want to go.
And that's a really beautiful concept too. And the way that I envisage that is a vibrational thing. Like we're all energy and we're all vibration. And you will notice when you're feeling stuck, like you mentioned, that's a lower vibration. When you're around other people, maybe even like-minded or not, that are stuck, they eat a certain way, they act a certain way, they move a certain way, they speak a certain way. And then when you move on to, another level or another caliber of understanding and comprehension of life, then the vibration lifts, and these people move, they look different, they feel different, they keep their space different. And so exactly like you said, it's this constant snakes and ladders games of sometimes you're the supportee and getting supported and helped up, and the hand is up and helping. And then often, and I know you're a community person as well, and you're very passionate about it, then sometimes you're turning back and helping somebody else up. And then it's this beautiful human chain of raising the vibration and raising each other up. That's like my first book, Rise Up. One of my taglines is like, rise up, the soulful guide to success. But we rise up and we get to do that together, because you get up there by yourself and it's a lonely path.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. It's like, the tide rises and all the boats rise together. And I think that's a big community thing. So totally with you on that message. So thanks so much for sharing that. And I think also in writing a book and, being an author and sharing a journey, a lot of people sometimes feel that I don't have a story to share. I don't have that zero to hero, or that traumatic event that I've gone through, or something like that. And really, that's not what it's about, is it?
No,
it's so much more than the event, or the significant event that may or may not happen for you. So I would just, like you say, encourage everyone to share, just from their heart, whatever their dreams and aspirations are.
That's what we want to hear. And see, if you don't perceive it as traumatic, maybe somebody else does, but it doesn't have to be. It's like sharing. Everyone has a story. And we can label it good, bad, traumatic, brutal, happy, sad, whatever. But ultimately, without all those labels, it's your story, and you are the main character, and you have the messages that I don't have, and that Fiona doesn't have, and that other people don't have, because we're not you. And I'm going to say things one way, which is partly why Fiona got me on here. Fiona says them another way. You might say another way that all the people that listen to us don't get, but they get you. So it is about you. It's about your story. It's about your soul signature, your essence, and sharing your journey without the labels with the world, whether it be through books, podcast, conversation, posts. A lot of people like to blog and post, just whatever feels safe for you to get out there and share your voice with the world.
Absolutely, because I totally agree in that there's so many ways that things can be shared, and there's an abundance of clients and people out there for us all to help, and they'll gel with any one of us. So I think that community coming together, which is my dream for this Mompreneurs Inspired and Thriving group, is to have mompreneurs, and we do have some guys in here as well, which I'm fine with, because they're also sole traders and growing businesses, have families, often single parents. And I think if we can all work together, my dream is there'll be someone in the group that can help you with whatever you are stuck or whatever your problem is. I don't perceive and want to have all the answers. I want to create this community where we can all thrive together.
And I think people will feel that from you, like you've cultivated this from the ground up, and that's a feeling coming into this group, is a really tight-knit container where people have got each other's back. Like I have gone into some other groups and you can feel the energy of it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is a space for me. But the moment I stepped into your group, I was welcomed with open arms. Everybody was more than friendly and connected, and similar to the community that we've created, which all just get bigger and bigger because they all join up, all the pockets sort of come together. And I think this day and age, with everything that's happening and a lot of people turning to online business, that's what has set me apart, and definitely what set you apart too, Fiona, is the authenticity within the group. We don't claim to be the guru. We don't have all the answers, but within the extended family of community, someone has the answer. And I find that really wholesome.
It really is special. I do. I love that too. I totally agree with you, and that's my dream for the group as it grows. It just becomes this international community where we can all support each other. So let's move into this, how we get from stuck to seen. So where would we like to start? Do you want to give us a bit of a background onto it, how it helped you perhaps?
That's what I'll start with, the background and how I came up with this, because I think that's very relevant to wherever you are. So basically I came up with this visual model, or this concept, because I was obviously going through my own journey, the highs and the lows. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme on Facebook, but it's the life of an entrepreneur, and it's like, oh my God, it's great, it's amazing. And it's like, woof. It's like, oh my God, I can't get out of bed. And then the next one's up here and you're up here, and then you're back down. Oh yeah. So I was just noticing these fluctuations, these highs and these lows, and this inherent feeling like I was always doing something wrong and it was never good enough, and I never just quite got there. So that was my own experience with it. And then I was recognizing in my clients, like, all these highs and lows. And I also noticed, as I started to take on more clients all over the world now, I work with women, mums globally in business. And what was happening is I noticed this group of people, like I talked about earlier, these guys felt different to these guys, and these ones felt different. So I was noticing kind of groups forming in front of my eyes. And I was like, hey, well, what's similar about this group? Why are they all being drawn together? And why are all these people being drawn together? And I realized that through our journey in business and life and all the areas of our life, there was this cycle continuing to happen. And often when someone would come to me as a coach, they came to me because they felt stuck in some area of their life. So the main areas of your life being your body, your health, your finances, your business or career, your home space, like your living environment, your relationships, and then your reoccurring thoughts. So people will come to me and they're stuck. Usually in their business or their health, or sometimes their relationships. And so they were stuck. And when they were feeling stuck, it was harder to get out of. So then when we moved from stuck, I was noticing these people just stuck deep down in the dumps and didn't know where to turn, where to go. The next type of woman was somebody who was more self-aware. So she may have listened to a podcast, jumped onto something like this and listened to people talking and become self-aware, like, oh, my gosh, maybe I could start to feel a little bit better. There is a book I could read, or a podcast, or something that's going to help me in my life and in my business. So I called that woman self-aware, and her whole life, like, it is uncanny when I named it like this. And you look into people's life, when they decide where they are, you can nearly tell everything about their life. And so what I was noticing, I'll finish the stuck to seen model first. So stuck, and then we move to self-aware. And as we're talking, listening now or later, just see where you fit. And there's no right or wrong here. It's just like an awareness to know where you are now and where you want to go. So then we can give you the developmental stages to get there. So then someone became self-aware and started to make some slight little changes. And then I would notice this cycle of the self-aware woman turning into guilty. So then she would have this massive cloak of guilt because she'd started doing her morning routine different. She's starting to go for a walk. She might be spending a little bit more money on, maybe organic food. She's understanding what her values are. So when she's going on her morning walk, she's got kids there going, hold on a sec, where do you think you're going? You've been making my breakfast for the last 10 or 15 years. Get back here and make my breakfast. So she starts to feel guilty. And this happens with us as well. Some of the husbands fold their arms and like, you spend how much on a retreat for 2 days? So now she's investing in herself, spending, time on calls like this as the kids are going to bed or whatever, starts to feel a little bit guilty. And what can happen from here, if you don't get the developmental steps to like that hand down to bring you back up and the things, it's like snakes and ladders. You'll go up and then slide straight back down. Yeah. Just as fast as you go up, you'll come back down. It happens in all areas of life. So the next thing after guilty, we give I can see it coming off and can feel it with my clients. And then I give them the answers in PDFs, meditations, online coaching, group coaching, singular coaching at the retreats, a whole bunch of stuff we do for people. And then we go from guilty. Once you bust through that, you become very focused. And the focused women, particularly in business, are the ones that are doing everything for everyone. So they've received a little bit of abundance, perhaps, got their first couple of clients, but they feel like they really have to prove themselves and they're working really hard. They're everything to everyone. And then they're risking of burning out, feeling like in this focused space. So what will happen after being focused, if you get the right steps, is you feel seen. And seen to me is not about being on the front of a book or having your own podcast or being on the news or being in the magazine. It's not those sort of tangible things. Feeling seen to me is knowing your purpose, your soul purpose, what you are here for, waking up every single morning, even on the bad or the icky or you're not feeling great days, fully acknowledged and seen by yourself to yourself. You set clear boundaries, you know who you are, you're on a mission, you know the path, you're taking the action steps, you're looking after your body, you set the clear boundaries, you have conversations with people, and that is seen. And so what I decided to do in order to help people go from stuck to seen is create this model, is create this understanding that wherever you are is fine. Just know where you are, and then I can break it down. It's like walking. Most people, we learn to walk. It takes a couple of years to learn to walk. And I was noticing these stuck women or self-aware who just become aware and listened to a podcast and read a book, all of a sudden wanted to be feeling and doing what I'm doing. I'm like, you can get there, but it's not going to happen overnight. But it's going to happen faster for you if you follow these steps. However, the key is, and if you're taking notes, write this down. When you're stuck, jumping up to seen, like basically when you're stuck, self-aware, guilty, focused, or seen, I give you different things to do. So if we're talking about your body, because the body is such a big part of, you need this body in order to carry out your mission in life. Yeah. What I tell this, and this is another reason I designed it, the information I would give to the stuck woman about her body or about business or about time management or about business, career, home, her space is very different to the lady the information I give the seen woman. And so it was starting to become conflicting. So I thought, how can I break this down so the people that are feeling stuck at the moment get exactly what they need? Because that's basic. But by the time you get to seen, we are reframing everything again. And it's sometimes the complete opposite to what I tell the stuck woman to do. Yeah. So I didn't want people to get confused, and I wanted to break it down like that. Because once again, you don't go from walking to running like that.
That's right. It's a journey, it's a process, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the skills required in being seen, you learn as a slow developmental, just slowly percolating away, showing up every day, bubbling under the surface, asking yourself the right questions, empowering questions as opposed to limiting questions. So yeah, that's why I designed it. And it's been extremely powerful in my journey. And like I said, with my clients, I can see or feel where they're at, so I know what to give to them straight away, and it's all set up and instructed with the infrastructure so I can get what they need immediately.
Beautiful. I'd just like to say, anyone that's joining us, thanks, Jai and Abby, for being here with us as well today. Let us know where you're listening from, or watching from, and even if you're on the replay, #replay, and do the same thing. And I guess what I'd love to ask you all is, if you felt stuck in an area of your life, where have you felt stuck, and are you still stuck? And if that's the case, ask us a question, ask Dan a question, and I'm sure even on the replay, just tag us, and we can come back and surely come back and answer the questions for you. So reach out any time, ask questions. That's what we're here for. Here to share knowledge and skills, so you can get unstuck from your current stuckness, if that's the case.
And it's important to remember here too, you might be stuck in your physical body in terms of like your weight and your health, but your business might be seen. So this is overall, once again, if you work with me one-on-one, we break it down into smaller steps. But for the case of this call now and this presentation now, look at your life as a whole and pick which one of these you are. If you're watching later, #replay, and just let us know. Are you feeling stuck overall, struggling to get out of bed? Your space is cluttered and there's stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. You're not really... Most of the stuck people probably wouldn't be on this call, because this is what I notice a lot of other people do. They say that they're stuck, but if they're listening to this content, you're not.
They're already aware.
You're already aware. So people either totally over exaggerate how well they're doing and how awesome they are. But what most people tend to do, particularly in the community that I'm in, is totally what's the word? There's over exaggerate, the opposite of over exaggerate. They totally undermined themselves. Yeah, and so that's what I noticed. So if you're watching this, you're probably not stuck. You're already self-aware. But I invite you to pinpoint exactly, as in your wholesome life right now, what are you feeling? Stuck, struggling to get out of bed. It's really hard. You've got crap on top of crap. You're going out with your mates and you're eating cake and drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes or whatever it is. Or are you self-aware? You're listening to this. You're thinking, oh, there could be a different way. You've started to clean up your space, but there's sort of moving it over into the corner. It's not getting quite to Lifeline yet, but you're cleaning up your space. Are you guilty? You're at that point where you have bought a retreat, or you started to work with Fiona one-on-one, or you're doing your morning walks and your kids and your husband are like, no, you can't do that. And you're starting to second guess yourself. There's more money going out than more money coming in, maybe. So maybe that's you. Or are you focused? So, feeling extremely focused. You're going on your morning walk. You're setting yourself up with a morning routine for the day. And you got the clothes, you've cleared your space out, you've got the Lifeline bag, but it hasn't got to Lifeline yet. It's either in the back of the car or behind the couch. So this is focus, because you just don't have time to get it to Lifeline, and you're busy doing everything for everyone else, and you're having little snippets of time to work on your business, and you're fitting it in between like breastfeeding and doing the washing and all the thing. Or are you seen and just really focused? You wake up every morning, you set your timetable out, you follow your timetable. You're energetic most of the time. You listen to your feelings. So on the days that you need a rest, you take a rest, because that's a hard thing to teach entrepreneurs, probably the hardest thing I've ever had to teach. Well, I don't teach you anything. I remind you, you already know it all. But getting mums in particular, and women like us, Fiona, to take a break and listen to their body. Wow. But by the time you're seen, your body will lead. You'll listen to your body. You have a great connection with your body. Your space is cleaned out. Your clothes are gone to Lifeline. You don't have as much in your wardrobe. You feed your body sustainably, and it's easy and accessible, and it's a value and it's a priority to you. Your business is often booming by this. So there's a vibrational thing. The more you look after this, the better your business is doing.
That's so true. I've realized that the last few months. Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting. It's interesting, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, I'm going through the cycle, my own wheel, and I'm thinking, okay, where are my areas I can see that I slip into guilt sometimes, certainly around my health and well-being. Very aware on all focuses, some very seen, some are very focused. So it's a good reminder as well to check in on these things.
Yeah, check in, know where you want to go. And if anybody wants the PDF, I have a PDF of stuck. I broke it up. So this is stuck, this is self-aware, this is guilty, and then the areas of life. So your physique, your health, your finances, your business and career, your home, your relationships and your thoughts. I can drop that in the group if that's going to be helpful to anyone.
That would be perfect. Thank you. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sure I certainly love it, and I'm sure a lot of people will love to download that as well. I'm just going to have a drink of my juice as I talk to you.
Because I feel like even when you know where you are and you've got a starting point, that's massive. People underestimate the power of the starting point. If you know where you are and you know where you're going, we can give you the roadmap to get there, the developmental stages. If you don't even know where you are and you don't know where you're going, it's just like, oh, that's a hard place to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It is that awareness and that checking in with ourselves. And I don't know about you, but I've been doing that more so in morning routines.
Yes.
You know, having my sort of like, you know, lemon elixir water and all these sorts of things, and a bit of meditation, listening to, I love to watch or listen to Ganesh, you know, the meditation Indian mantras. So I put that on in the morning and just find myself free writing or journaling.
Yep.
And some days I read it back, or some days I don't. Sometimes at the end of the week, I'll read through and I'll just highlight little things that I notice that, okay, and I need to be mindful of this, or perhaps that's something for me to work on or talk to my coach about.
Yeah.
You know, those sorts of things.
That's a beautiful segue into the 5 steps, because you just said the first step. Like, I've condensed these down, and the first step out of the 5 in going from stuck to seen is exactly what you just said, morning routine. And once again, the morning routine of the stuck woman is slightly different to the seen woman. I give the seen woman different things because she's taken time to create the habits of usually journaling, like you said, sitting down, getting really clear on your thoughts, some time by yourself, meditations, all the things that all the people tell you to do. By the time you're seen, we can start habit stacking, whereas I would never offer or invite a stuck woman to have stuck or self-aware to habit stack, because she's already overwhelmed. Her central nervous system is already in shock.
That's right.
So that's the first step, is morning routine. Watch what Fiona does. Have a look on my page. I actually have a video which I would be happy to share on the page if you'd like.
Please, that would be great. Wonderful. I think all of these resources, please feel free to share whatever you feel is going to serve the group, Diane. I'd have honestly no hang-ups about any of that.
Yeah, I'll pop the video in there. It's part of my mastermind, but I'm happy to share that, because if you do nothing else and just start that morning routine, regardless of where you are on the scale, your life will change. It will create some space for you to really feel into and get the space that you need to take the next step. Because most of us just feel so overwhelmed. We procrastinate, and there's reasons for that, but I won't go into it today, but I can help you press that button, stop procrastinating like that.
Yeah. Sometimes it just used to feel for me, I know, like swimming around in a goldfish bowl that's all foggy and steamed up, you know, and I just needed to drain out the water, clean the tank, you know, and refill it again.
Guess what the second step is? You just said it. She's one step ahead of me. Look at this. This is amazing. This
Great minds think alike.
So it's like clearing your space, like you said about the fish tank. You want to go around and make sure you can see out there. In your home, you want to throw an eye over, because we get used to it, gets stuck in our subconscious, and we think it's normal. And I can walk into someone's house and I can tell by looking and feeling where on the scale that they are.
The energy.
When I started, I was stuck. You open my fridge, stuff was falling out all over me. We'll go through to the back. There's stuff from 6 months ago, and I just shove it all in and shut the door and go do something else. But by the time you get to seeing, like what my fridge is like now, gets cleaned out every week, and it might not necessarily be you doing it. You might start to delegate that sort of stuff. But clearing out your space, and particularly the space you spend a lot of time in, your office, your bedroom, the bedside table is a big one. When we go through values at the 6 Steps to Soul Success workshop, we say, look at your bedside table. Look at what your life demonstrates. That will show you your values. And then that's what you want to be building a business around. That's what you want to create an income on, because it's intrinsically
already within you.
So just cleaning out space. So I just added into my calendar 10 minutes every day before I started work of cleaning out a space. Actually, it was 8 minutes. I would trick my brain. I do 8 minutes and fully focused, just cleaning this amount out. You can do anything for 8 minutes. So pick a space. And if you're watching this now or later, we're going to hold you accountable.
I love that. Yeah, and actually, I'll allow you to keep me accountable too, because I've done a lot of decluttering. I have
Yep.
one room that's left,
Yep.
and it is my what I call the games room. And one half is nice and clean. The other half is where I have all the bags of things I still have to sort and, you know, either take to charity shop or recycle or do something with. So I promised myself, well, I didn't promise, I've been wanting to put into my calendar, and I haven't yet done it. Just
Let's
like
pick a
you
date.
say,
When are you going to have it done by? I've got my calendar right here, sits beside
I
me.
want to have it finished by the end of October. So, you know, for Christmas, everything is done and clean.
Oh, I'd say end of September.
End of September. Oh, challenging me. I love it.
If you leave it too long, it's just like so far away, you never get
Okay, all right, you're on. End of
If
September.
you're one of my clients, it'd be like by the end of the weekend. Auto suggestion.
Well, I'm actually down in my other house at the moment, down south of the river. So, and this house is north of the river. So when I go back home, I will put a picture up of the room, which probably won't be for another week and a half or so. And then that was my hesitation around the time, just because I'm not physically there a lot at the moment.
Yep.
But I will do that. And then
if you have to clean it out.
That's right. Or send in the cleaners. No, I need to go through, you know, it's like sometimes you need to go through things yourself, some of the old paperwork and things like that.
All right, I've put it in my calendar for the 29th of September.
Okay.
And I can add you, I think, if your email's in here.
Should be. You can try it under Fusen, F-U-S-Z-E-N. F-U-S-Z-E-N. Yeah.
That, I love when things work.
Perfect.
Out. Done. Save.
Yeah. And then I'll have accountability now, Mompreneurs Group, and post some progress photographs between now and the 29th of what I'm getting done.
Yeah, perfect. And then everybody can use that post to put stuff under. We did a clutter competition and it went berserk.
Good idea. Okay.
We love to see what it looks like and then be held accountable by the community, and like literally 8 minutes a day or however you choose to do it. You might just want to put half a day aside to it.
Yeah.
But change your patterns. What you'd usually do the opposite.
Okay, I will do that. So that's a good idea. I'll make a note and create a declutter challenge into the mums group, and then anyone that wants to join it can post up what they're going to have decluttered and finished by the 29th of September. We can all work to the same deadline.
Yep, I love it.
Oh, good.
Hey, any guesses on what the third step is, since you've picked all the others? Got to do with money.
I guess it's organization and money, isn't it? And spending, and really just having that. Well, I also believe you have to take emotion out of money, you know, because if we have a lot of emotion attached around money, that's where a lot of people, I teach people how to rewrite their money story. Because if we have a lot of emotion stuck, you know, around that, and it's really all what we've been brought up with, then people, we just can't proceed ahead, and we end up spending, you know, 116% of what we earn over our lifetime, rather than taking the money that we have. And you can actually build wealth with what you have. You don't need one extra cent. You just have to reassign what you're spending the money on.
Yes.
We're very aligned.
So that's what I call exactly everything that you said. But I've coined a term for it, because I was noticing people like to have a name for things so they can access it. So I call it money matters. When I was stuck, money did not matter. Well, it mattered because I never had any. I was constantly searching through like ashtrays and the kids, like this is not that many years ago. Now I'm writing books about being a millionaire, but 5 years ago, probably maybe 6, when Ross was little, like searching through the ashtrays in the car, searching through his piggy bank just to get enough money to get petrol and coffee. Yeah. And if you don't have much money, just don't drink the coffee. Just save the coffee. Make one from home. So anyway, it's called step number 3 is money matters. So what I decided to do was look at my life and what was working. So health has always been one of my highest values. So I was like, what do I do in health that works? I make time for it every day. I make time for it every day, whether it's a walk, whether it's some sort of light movement, whether it's a workout, and I do this, 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 and this, because I couldn't come up with it for money because I didn't value it quite clearly. I didn't have any of it. So I looked at something I did well and I did A, B, and C. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with my money. So the first thing I did was I made time for it. So I put it in my calendar every morning at 9 o'clock after I did my 8 minutes of cleaning out, rewrite money story, check in with money, all the thing. It was so boring. And who thinks like that? I didn't do it because I hadn't rewritten it yet.
Yeah.
So what I did, change the linguistics. I called it Money Matters. Like, I actually sat there one day, I was like, why aren't I doing this? And quite frankly, it's because I didn't give a shit. I didn't know about wealth. I didn't know about compounding. I didn't know about all this stuff. So I coined it, and I coined the term Money Matters. And now it's in my calendar every morning from 9 o'clock. And I allocate anywhere from 15, usually about 30 minutes. It used to take me an hour and 30 minutes by the time I knew where everything was going. I had nothing set up, and it's written in my book. Like, literally 2 years ago, I'm well on my way to $1 million business, but 2 years ago, maybe a little more, I didn't know what an invoice was. I didn't know what net meant versus gross. Like, if you're listening to this, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but it's not an excuse. I had no idea. I had to start getting on Google and saying, what does this mean? What does that mean? And take responsibility. So I call it Money Matters. It's in the calendar every morning for 9 o'clock. And now that's just my habit. I do it every single morning, and I make time for it. I spend time with it. I make it important. And the golden rule, just spend less than you make. It's not that hard, but it is hard if you don't know how much you're making and how much you're spending.
So you're not tracking anything.
Yes, I think that's what you help people with, is get really clear about all the tracking, what's coming in, what's coming out, what's tied to it emotionally. Because I mean, even back when I used to work in center management in the corporate world, it's on like 26 grand a year, work all year for $26,000. And the accountant said to me, I know how much you earn. How are you doing all this traveling? This is before I had kids. I was backpacking the world and doing everything. And I knew back then, I was like, it's not how much you earn, it's what you choose to do with it once you get it. Yeah. So what you said before about, you don't need one extra cent to make $1 million or to make $100,000. If you deeply appreciate, organize, and structure what you do have, it will work for you. And now, to the point in my Money Matters, I write down what's in my bank account, and I just used to write the round figure, so it might be $50,000. But now, if it's $50,000, 476 cents, I write 50,476 cents. Yeah. And I go, and I'm grateful for that 76 cents. It matters as much to me as the $50,000 done. So completely rewiring. Writing your money story was part of that, which Fiona mentioned earlier. And here's the clincher. Clean out your wallet and your handbag. So your wallet and your handbag is a representation and a home for your money. Yeah. And most of the time when I work with people, myself included, when I first started, it was full of crap. Had apple cores from the kids at the bottom. It had chewing wrapper paper. I don't even eat chewy. It had,
and the receipts that are buried with money rolled up in and all sorts of things. That's the first thing I say, is that you clean out the wallet, clean out the purse, you label your cards so that it's easy as to what you're spending on from which account. Yep. And you always make sure you have notes in your wallet. Yes. If you don't have any cash in your wallet, you're not open for the abundance that will flow. So it's very, very important.
The framework here, keep in your wallet in cash how much you want to earn a day. So $1 million, I'm moving towards $1 million business.
Yeah.
$3,000 a day.
Yeah.
So I would then invite you, I keep $3,000 in my wallet. And the first time I did it, I nearly vomited.
Yeah.
I could be sitting
You have to do it.
But it changes your mindset and rewire stuff so quickly. And the first couple of times, or the first probably year or two, I kept my handbag really close, but it becomes your new normal. Yeah. Then all of a sudden I've got $3 grand sitting in my wallet. I'm leaving it on the seat in the car while I go to the gym, because it rewires everything about
even when you don't have the physical cash to put in the wallet right now, write yourself the check.
Checks so and Monopoly money. I have people send me photos of Monopoly. I've filled it up with Monopoly.
If you're creating it, that's what you're going to, what you think about is what you bring about. It's a big thing, isn't it? It's all in the mind. So I think it's very important.
The check that you said, and then always a letter of gratitude to money in my wallet. Thank you for every single dollar that's ever been spent on me and invested in me. Because if you think about every single dollar your parents spent, anybody else around you has spent, the petrol that was bought for you, the driving you around as a kid, the uniforms, the books, the pencils, the haircuts, and you have gratitude for every single one. It's a really deep relationship, as opposed to flippant and, there's always more. I mean, there is always
more. Yeah, there is always more, but it will, money flows to where it's appreciated most.
Yes.
And it flees from where it's just not thought of, and I think the universe will only give you what you can handle. If you cannot manage your money, you will never receive more.
Yeah. And the other thing
Simple as
is,
that.
I was really interested to find out was we all have a blueprint and a financial thermostat. And it's very subconscious, and it's often what our parents earn. And I was like, no, I earn more than my parents did. But when I actually asked them the question when I first found out this information, because it's not something we talk about. And so I was on a course and they said, find out how much your parents earned together. And then I came to that because we have a lot of limiting beliefs. I can't earn more than my dad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it was nearly to the dollar. Like, it was so close to what my mum and dad earned at the similar age to me.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think because also it's like when you put them on a pedestal, like you sort of have your dad up there, and I did this, and it's sort of it's a block, it's a block, because when you put yourself on a pedestal, want them on a pedestal, you put yourself in a pit, and the glass ceiling becomes the pedestal, the person on the pedestal, whoever that is, whether it's a mentor, someone you look up to, a family member, it can be anyone. So until you have an awareness around that and can see through it, it's very difficult to break through that ceiling. And that's when true success, comes in abundance.
Oh, that's true success, wealth, and abundance, isn't it? When you can recognize your own thermostat, pull people down off the pedestal and yourself out of the pit, and you can dissolve and neutralize those fantasy situations. And that's pure power in itself. And there's a process to get there, but you can all get there. And you probably, if you go back over your life, you'll have glimpses of when you've already done it. So now we just make it your new normal now that you've got more awareness of it. But yeah, it blew my mind. Thermostat, I just had something this week, like one of my biggest months in business. We're talking up 80 and 100 grand now a month, not sustainably yet, but I've had a handful in there.
That's beautiful. Something well done.
Happened to bring it down just that little bit. And I kept questioning, well, why is that happening? And then one of my coaches helped me unpack, do a few of the numbers. And I was like, oh, wow, nearly to the dollar is the financial thermostat. So in the mastermind that I run, which is all online, I have a process I take people through that helps raise your financial thermostat. So what your normal is, because you've all got a number. You've got a number that when you're in your bank, if that's in your bank account, you feel safe and free and you're going out for dinners and you're doing the thing. You also have a number in the bank account when it gets to like 10 grand, that's kind of, maybe it's 10 grand, it's your zero, and everything tightens up and you stop having dinners and you stop spending the money here. And then you build it back up to maybe 20 and then just can't get over this 20 grand thing.
Yeah. The block.
So just being aware of what it is and that there's something else out. And this is when you want to hang around different vibrational people. I just joined a group, invited myself, of a group of $10 million. They're individually together, we're $10 million business owners, but their goal, it's several men, and I'm the only woman. And I was like, oh, come, I'm not there yet, but I will be if I hang out with you guys. I'll get there quicker.
Absolutely.
So join the group, exclusive group. We go for dinners. They're going for 10 million. I'm going for 1 million. And that will raise your thermostat. It's a different conversation. It's a different focus. It's a different consciousness. And I'm like, I'm feeling that now. I'm not pedestaling these guys. But I'm learning from them and I'm absorbing their money vibration. That's
right. Because one of the things I'll be launching probably early next year, well, it should have been out by now, but with travel and things, it's stopped, is the intimate retreats with multimillionaires. And this will be an experience where we go off to, a resort in some island somewhere. And you have a business that's functioning, that, brings in, money while you're away. Because I don't know about you, Diane, but time and money freedom, we can't teach that. It has to be experienced. So, and, so by being in an environment where, you're with multimillionaires who've, built businesses and different things, those conversations over breakfast, over lunch, around the dinner table, going out on surprise excursions where we don't know where we're going, we're just in a minibus heading off somewhere, but there'll be a lesson to be learned there, or a challenge to have, or a conversation with someone that you're sitting next to on the bus. And I think being in that environment, just with no phones and just immersing ourselves in that experience, you get to truly appreciate or to see the value of time, money, freedom. I think ultimately that's what we all want.
And feel it. Like when you feel it and you embody it because you're around them and you see the look on their face and you see that that's their normal, that's a big part of how I got where I am. Immersing myself in it before I felt worthy of it as well. So, when people hear about your retreat that's coming up, when we can start to travel again, there may be a little bit like, oh, I don't deserve to be there. Imposter syndrome. This happened to me. I manifested, you'll love this story. I manifested a ticket to the Platinum Partners in Tony Robbins.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I paid $5,000 for my ticket, and I got into Platinum Partners in the front row, which is
Awesome.
100,000 American dollars. And I was there, like, it was before I was making any money, maybe $5 a month. And I was just like a deer in headlights. And I was thinking, oh my God, I've done something wrong. I'm going to be busted. I'd pedestaled all these people. And then I caught myself pedestaling them, and then was like, hold on a sec. What do I do well? So to bring people off the pedestal and yourself out of the pit, it's like, what have I got to add? So I looked around.
Yeah.
I looked at most people were overweight. They're very wealthy men and women, but not many of them had these puppies.
Yeah.
So they weren't healthy. None of them, a few of them weren't sleeping well. Some of them were highly stressed. Others had shitty relationships because they spent so much time at work. And I was like, oh, I've actually got a lot to bring to these people. I don't want to learn about health from these people. I don't want to learn about the things that I'm good at, but what I can feel is their money vibration. They've got that better than me. So I immersed myself in this group and felt their money vibration. And I reckon just by being in and around that and absorbing it and making sure I took them off and met them here, I think that one of the biggest things in my money story is that awareness and that opportunity, like you're talking about with your retreat, to be in and around the people who have done it. And literally people were coming to me and saying, you teach me and show me how to get what you've got, that spark in your eye, that spring in your step. I feel you coming before you walk into the room. There's 10,000 people in this room, but I feel you coming. I hadn't sat down, it's 8 days, no, maybe it's 6 days, 12, 14 hours a day. And I jumped and like from early morning to late at night, they're like, we want that. And I'm like, well, I want what you got. So let's hang. So find that group. And if you've already got an inbuilt exclusive group, step up there before you're ready, because you will get pulled up in the vortex. Too many of us sit back and we're shy and think, what if I don't make it? I am not a millionaire yet in real time. So this was huge to write this. Imposter. I'm not good enough. What if it doesn't happen? What if I go bankrupt? My husband lost his job, international airline pilot. And I was like, well, I've manifesting. I've declared it to the universe now. Yeah. It was scary, but that's an energetic thing. And now it's just a matter of time before real time catches up.
That's right. Absolutely. Fully agree.
And you've got to believe in yourself like that. And once again, going through the developmental stages, knowing where you are, knowing where you're going, all the things we're teaching you about now. And step number 4, want to guess what it is? It's got to do with loving what you do.
I guess it's appreciation, right? And being appreciative and great gratitude, and that knowledge, acknowledging perhaps yourself, your growth, where you are, where you've come from.
Exactly. Yeah. So that gratitude, and that's easier to have when you're on purpose. So really tune into and discover what your purpose is, what you are put on this earth for. Not me, not Fiona, not your mate next door or your boss or your partner or your kids. What you as a human are put on this earth for, what lights you up, what's the thing that you do for hours that you do without getting paid. And it's often the thing closest to us and we love the most that we don't think we can make money out of, which is the thing you could be making money out of because you love it. Yeah. So really take the time to uncover what your purpose is. And that's so much gratitude comes with that.
Yeah.
Before it and after it and during it.
I think gratitude's a huge thing. It's healing. I think it's a lot of healing comes from gratitude, or that's what I've experienced from myself, having that gratitude. And like you said before, even what was it around the acknowledgement of self, and it's taking responsibility for yourself, but also looking and believing, that you're worthy and that you validate yourself, it's not down to anyone else to validate us, is it really? It's down to ourselves. And I think that mirror work, that I'd have done and still do for a long time. My body's got a lot of work to recover. I've neglected it and avoided it for many years. So I now appreciate that it's not just going to happen overnight, although I'd love it to, if that's not the reality.
Yeah.
I'm grateful, in the shower, I'm grateful for, my body for carrying me, for nurturing me and bringing me where I am. And the more I've learnt to love it as it is, the more I see it changing.
Yes.
You know, as
So
I do things more healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, before it gets to loving yourself, it's stuck like you would at
Mm.
seen. The
Yeah.
love doesn't change. You still wholly and solely love yourself. So that's probably the biggest piece. There's so many
Yeah.
focused women, but if they don't get this self-love gratitude piece, they'll stay
Mm.
at focused for the rest of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the biggest difference is being able to love yourself. And I think it's John DeMartini that says it in this way, but owning all of the traits, not
Yeah.
just attaching to, I'm activated and I'm lively and I'm energized and all
Oh,
the perceived.
I love
this stuff is amazing.
I call it my 50 shades of grey. You know, all emotion is welcome. You know, and I have a lot of fun with that when I talk about it with clients and on lives and things. And also the work of Helen Sidra Stone, you know, the selves. And I have all selves and I welcome them all. I've got the bitch, you know, the bitch, the mother, the seductress, the wife, the cooker, the cleaner. They're all parts of me, you know, and they're all welcome. No one should be shamed.
Yeah. And that's huge, isn't it? Like when you can.
I own which one I get up. Like a couple of weeks ago, I got up and I thought, what is wrong with me? I just felt like, and I just said, okay, the bitch is here. I'm owning it.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone just went and did their own thing. Sit out of my
I love it. And the other thing is like, I find
rather than trying to show up as someone else, you know, it's crazy.
just
the mask comes off now. Yeah.
Being yourself, taking the masks off, you know, using the reflections and mirrors of your clients and your friends, family members, like they're pissing you off, they're triggering you. Well, it's because they're displaying a trait back to you that you're not owning in yourself. Oh, you're being a narcissist or you're being judgmental. And this is what I've noticed about myself. It's a beautiful reflection. If I think that about them, it's really, I'm just not owning it in myself.
Absolutely.
The moment I own that trait in myself, their behavior doesn't bother me anymore. I'm not judging it.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
likewise for the positive or the perceived positive, people don't have, like, self-esteem is the positive affirmations. I am love, I am love, I am positive. It's only half of the coin. The other side of the coin is I am a bitch. I can lie. I can be greedy. I can do all the things.
There's polarity in everything, right?
Yeah,
you know?
right. So when we go, this is the whole coin, and that's self-worth. And that's part of my book as well. Like, how can we have full self-worth? It's not just by attaching to one side and pretending it's all this. So full self-worth. And my life changed when I realized full self-worth is owning it all of it. And it just, you know, it's a life.
That's it, because a lot of people say, you know, net worth is self-worth. But I think actually for me, net worth, or the money that we have in the bank, is our level of self-love.
Yes, so true. I agree.
Because, you know, every coin, every dollar has two sides, and so does loving ourselves has two sides. You know, there's the love and trust, there's the fear and the doubt, you know, there's all of these things that we need to embrace. Yeah.
And it's also like, I believe our business is a reflection of our self-worth. Our body is a reflection of our self-worth. Obviously our values in there as well. Like you said, the bank account is a reflection of it. Anything on the outside is reflecting what's really going on the inside. Yeah. So when you can go on the inside and own everything on the inside, nothing and no one can touch you on the outside, because you take personal responsibility for yourself. And that's part of being the seen woman as well. When you're stuck or self-aware, you tend to blame a lot. It's his fault. You make excuses, his or her fault. Whereas when you're taking just such an empowered way to live, and quite frankly, it's so much easier.
There's a great book. I forget the author, but the book is Inside Out Revolution. And if you haven't read it, I would really encourage you to look at that. Anyone that's listening as well. It's a really great book. And it's something that really helped me many years ago move from externalizing everything, you know, and looking outside for solutions and the answer to my problems. Like I think I mentioned to you when we were chatting a couple of weeks ago there about my shelf development. You know, I'd go into a bookstore, read the back of a book and think, oh yeah, okay, if I read this book, it's going to help me get over my procrastination and my overwhelm, blah, blah, blah. Take it home, put it on the shelf. I never read it. I've got this beautiful collection of books. And, you know, I think the statistics, well, when I looked them up a while ago, I haven't done them for a while, it's something like 75% of books that are bought are never opened.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually say that
a couple
of times. I refer to that in here. I'm like, now, it's been proven only 2% of you are going to actually do this
Get to this. Yeah, I'll get to this page.
Go ahead until you do it. Stop, put the book down, because most of you won't do it.
Yeah.
And my life changed when I stopped doing, moving to the next book, moving to the next personal development thing, so I could tick it off my list. When I actually stopped and really sat with and embodied the information and took the actions it told me to do prior to moving to the next thing, that was key in my growth, because we're so like addicted.
I call it successing. That's right, because we have to take action. Otherwise, it's episodic knowledge. You know what I mean? It doesn't come into knowledge that creates skill. You know, it just ends up being intellectualizing it, and we don't get the experiential knowledge of doing it.
We've got to embody it, so it becomes
absolutely
part of the central nervous system and part of your whole processing. So that's in here, and this is actually on pre-sale until the end of the month, which was yesterday. So I'll leave it open for another day or two. $22, $5 for postage or something. So I'll put the link in down below if you're happy. If anyone wants a copy, it's
absolutely no, I'd love a copy, so I'll definitely get one.
And step number 5, I'm mindful of your time, it's nearly 8 o'clock. Step number 5 is, so basically you're doing a really good morning routine. You've cleared your space out. You've put your money matters in. You've cleaned your handbag out, rewritten your money story. You're using gratitude. You're on purpose. You know what your values are. The only thing that stops, one of the only things that stop you from getting to seen from there is fear. And it's usually imposter syndrome. So I have a process called the dissolve fear process, and I take you through it. And within an hour, we bring all the fears to the surface. And most people are usually at a charge of about 10 or 11 out of 10, debilitating, chronic, like stop you in your tracks. And I just go through the process. It's something that I heard John DeMartini do, and another mentor of mine did it. And I just took his and added my little bits and pieces. And now I have a full table that I can send to you and a full video. Actually, Fear to Freedom webinar. We do it, I think it's the second Tuesday of every month. But if anyone's interested in that, reach out. Because like I said, the only thing stopping you from there is fear. And fear is only an illusion. And we cognitively know that. But when it's stuck in our cells, in our central nervous system, the brain split into a duality. That was all bad. That was evil. Like, we can just dissolve it and literally go from like stuck, frozen to after the call. 15 minutes after the call, people take action for 15 solid minutes. Actually, we make it 12. We like to mess with the brain. 12 minutes on things that they have been procrastinating on for years, decades even. And as soon as you take that first step, supported by the community, wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. No, again, please feel free to post all these links either under this group or at different points, when you have things coming up. We do have promo days and things in the group anyway, so we welcome people to share what's going on as well. So that's all welcome. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a wealth of knowledge shared, and it's been a great conversation. I've got a lot of it out of it personally, and I'm sure anyone that's watching the replay will also do the same. It'll, as I say, as usual, it will go up onto the YouTube channel. Where it can obviously hopefully get a wider audience as well, and attract people back into our community here, so they can also share and grow along with us.
Beautiful.
So is there anything else you'd like to close with, Diane, or are we good?
Basically, I just would like to say to people to make a choice. This is on the PowerPoint I prepared. Make a choice to make a change in your life right now, like right now as you're listening to this, and implement something immediately, like before you leave the computer. Book something in, like we did for you, Fiona. We booked in your decluttering. Just it's only got to be little. Most people won't do it. Order the book, get on the webinar, look up Fiona's retreat, whatever it is. Take action you wouldn't usually take, and it doesn't have to be much. It's just the commitment and actually doing it. And I really need you all to remember that it's the small things that you do or don't do every single day that make the biggest difference. Most of it make it too big in our head, and it's too hard, and we just stay on that hamster wheel and we go round and round and round. But it seriously is the tiniest little things. And people say, what's different about me to everybody else? And I really think, like, I've done some amazing things. I've got 75 episodes out of my podcast. My husband's lost his job. I've done 2 books. I got the jewelry line. I run sold out retreats, a whole bunch of other stuff. But it's not because I'm any different to you. It's because I'm devoted and committed to waking up every day and going, what's a little thing that I can do? 2 millimeters, like Tony Robbins says, just 2 millimeters out of my comfort zone today. And then the next day. And then as that adds up over the year, and you probably heard that from all the bloody gurus, but, you know, hopefully I'll just say it in a way that resonates with you and you can believe in yourself and trust yourself. You're not going to see the massive change in the moment. But if you trust it and you get around a really solid, not like-minded, but a high vibrational community, that you can help people up and they can help people up, it's only a matter of time before you get to being seen or whatever your goals and dreams are. And Fiona believes in you, I believe in you, but that's irrelevant. You've got to believe in yourself. But if you're seeing us here and thinking, oh, I like what they're doing, she's written a book and they're doing that and having these conversations, what you see in us, you've got in you. So
absolutely. And it's like the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? You don't just take it, you know, the whole thing. So if your elephant for you is a multi-million-dollar business, then break it down into bite-sized pieces, which I think is Diane's message, and it's one that I share as well. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Diane, for joining me. I appreciate your time and your wisdom, and I'm sure we'll connect again.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Fiona.
Thank you very much.
Bye,
okay. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
Bye-bye.